everyone, and welcome to December's Comfort Book Club discussion. As always, I'm joined by my mum, Donna.
Hello, everybody.
And the book that we're discussing this month is The Vanderbeekers of 141st Street by Karina Yan Glaser. Thank you so much to all of you who read along with us this month, and especially to those of you who sent in a voice message to add to our discussion. We'll be including those messages throughout this conversation.
Wonderful.
Yes, and we've got some festive treats to aid conversation too.
Not lavender macarons, which
No,
I felt, sadly not that.
Yeah, not having a professional baker in the family.
No.
But we do have some mince pies.
We
and
do.
You were inspired by the book with this hot chocolate.
Yes, cinnamon and a pinch of cayenne pepper.
Yes, I loved that the Vanderbeeker parents
Yes.
snuggle up with that hot chocolate.
I loved it too.
So
yeah.
let's try it.
Merry
Cheers.
Christmas.
Merry
Yes.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
It's nice, isn't
Just
it?
add a little kick to it.
It does.
doesn't
It does. Yeah.
Extra warming. I like that.
Very warming. Lovely.
Yes. Well, I had so much fun reading this.
I wanted to say thank you to Miranda because I had never heard of it. You found it, you raved about it, and I didn't get around to reading it until this month. And oh my goodness, I absolutely loved it. It's a classic. It's a modern classic.
I really think it is. There's
Yeah.
something very special about
It really
this
is.
one, isn't it?
There really
And
is.
we both noticed the Elizabeth Enright quote.
Yes,
at the beginning.
From Spiderweb for Two, which is the last in her Saturdays series, I think. And I thought, oh, how appropriate, that's another New York family classic.
Yes, exactly. I love that.
And of course the Ellen Montgomery Ann one too.
Yes, yeah.
About home. I absolutely, I think American sort of children's literature does the family story par excellence.
Yes.
I really do, in this century especially. I mean the last century and this one, I guess.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I agree. I think this really has the makings of a real modern classic. The whole series is charming. This is the first book in the series and it's just utterly wonderful, isn't it?
It is. And my goodness, I wish she will do a cookbook. Do you think she might?
Well, you said that and I thought that
Yes.
was so inspired because there are so many great references to food in the book, and you think there should be an accompanying cookbook.
There
to
should,
this
with a
series.
disastrous beef stew and how to rescue
How to rescue it.
Yes, exactly.
If your aunt isn't nearby to help out. Yes, I thought there's so many great references to food, including the hot chocolate. There should be a cookbook.
But double chocolate pecan cookies.
I wanted one.
Yes,
and it was just such a lovely story that was a modern story, but had so many echoes of children's classics, like the Elizabeth Enright books, like the All of a Kind family books. That's a great New York series about a family as well. Like the Beanie Malone books I loved as a child, the Betsy Tacy ones. All these books had food and like the Beanie Malone books had a cookbook.
It did. And children
perfect.
love cooking along with you when they have a favourite series. So I really hope that she does get a cookbook out.
But I'm so glad you loved it. And yes, I think such a big part of the charm of this book is the Vanderbeeker family.
Oh, they're lovely.
Reading about such a happy family. And one of our readers, Victoria from America, said how much she loved reading about a happy family. So let's listen to Victoria's message.
Hi, Miranda, Donna, and all members of the Comfort Book Club. This is Victoria in Santa Barbara. I really enjoyed meeting the Vanderbeeker children and following them as they devised strategies to ingratiate themselves with their curmudgeonly landlord, the Biederman. I read eagerly, always expecting some bit of magic to save the day. Instead, the Vanderbeeker children, in all their amazing individuality and resourcefulness, were the stars of the show. Even the Biederman earns the children's compassion. At this time of year, I found it very comforting to immerse myself in a story of a happy family. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and hoping to see you in the new year. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Victoria.
Yes, and happy Christmas to you too, Victoria.
Yes,
yeah.
And I agree. I think there's something especially comforting this time of year to read a charming family story like
Absolutely.
the Vanderbeekers.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting because when I have a much older sister, but I was essentially grew up alone because she was already at university and married later, but and you were an only child. But I absolutely love a family story at Christmas. It's wonderful. I never actually wanted brothers or sisters, but I love reading about these big families.
Yes, I always did as well.
I know.
So things like Little Women I loved,
absolutely.
and of course the famous five, but like the E. Nesbit books.
Absolutely.
And I never yearned for siblings either, but I loved reading about family dynamics.
Yes.
And
Yes.
found that really special in this book as
It was
well.
lovely.
It's such a lovely family.
Yeah.
But one thing that we both chatted about as well, that we noticed that reminded us again of so many of our favourite children's books. And if you haven't picked up already, we're big fans of children's literature, and we still like to read it as adults. And one thing we love about old children's books is they're so often beautifully illustrated.
They are. And it's such a treat that there were maps and pictures of the brownstones and little I love the sort of M paper design of where the things are in the story and everything.
I love that too. I wish there'd been more illustrations.
Oh, I agree with you.
I wish that
they didn't
they
do the
could
children at all.
Exactly. I would have loved
that.
But I did like that you got some little bits like Oliver's haiku. The illustration on the panda stationery was shown, and like you said, the little maps of the neighbourhood, and then the brownstone itself and things like that. That really helped to bring the book to life, and I think it really would for children as well.
Yes, I agree.
So I thought that was a real charm to the story.
Really charming.
And Jason from New Zealand pointed out how much he enjoyed the use of diagrams and illustrations too. So let's hear Jason from New Zealand's message.
Hello, Miranda and Donna. This is Jason from New Zealand. I loved the diagrams of the brownstone sketch throughout Karina Yan Glaser's book. The diagrams give the apartment a life of its own, as if the brownstone in puffing, creaking, and clanking is the 8th Vanderbeeker, and no wonder the children go to great lengths to persuade their landlord, Mr. Biederman, to renew their family's lease. I was also moved by how Isa's violin turned out to be Mr. Biederman's daughter's violin, and that the violin becomes instrumental in opening Mr. Biederman's heart to the world. The way the story linked the strands of the plot together reminded me of the motto, "Only Connect," of another famous fictional dwelling, Howard's Inn. This book has the hallmarks of a modern children's classic. And Miranda and Donna, thank you both for all of the great Comfort Book Club recommendations of 2022. Happy holidays.
Oh, thank you, Jason.
Yes, thank you, Jason.
And thank you for all of your amazing voice message contributions throughout 2022.
You've been a stalwart of
real star.
Yes.
And yes, I so love your idea of the brownstone building being like the 8th Vanderbeeker.
Yeah, I love that.
I think that's so true. It really is like another family member.
Yeah.
And you get the feeling that the house does its best to protect its inhabitants against the cold weather and the winds and everything.
Absolutely. And I picked up too on the way that music was so important. And we have the classical music's mentioned, we have some jazz comes in, we have the bits with Christmas carols. I absolutely loved it. And I thought it was quite inspiring. Didn't you want to listen to Dvorak's humoresque while you were actually, you know,
and I thought
reading.
It would make children maybe want to go off and explore and listen too, which was wonderful. But also to make them a bit more aware, perhaps, or this is an activity you could do with a child, about the sounds that you hear, particularly in the holiday season, perhaps, like what music, but what sounds of the house and the neighborhood
Yeah.
around you.
Didn't you love the bit where, was it Jessica? I think it was. She tells them to close their eyes.
I think it's Lainey.
Oh, is it Lainey?
Who does it?
One of them,
yeah.
yes. Who tells them to close their eyes and listen and you know, and try not to hear anything. But I found that so fascinating.
Yeah, the sounds they do hear.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought that was like a really sweet little game
It
that
was.
they play together. And another reader, Laura from Italy, sent in a voice message about how she also thought the house itself is a character in the book and had some really interesting things to say on that. So let's listen to Laura's message.
Hello, Miranda. Hello, Donna. This is Laura from Italy. I especially liked the character of Lenny. She's adorable, like a little Christmas elf hugging everybody. But I think that the true protagonist of the novel is the house, the brownstone. In Latin, there is a nice phrase, genius loci, which means the spirit of a place, and originally referred to a divinity protecting a place and giving it its own character. I think this is evident in the story when all the sounds, noises of the house are described as if it had a beating heart. I believe that we love our home, but it is also true that our home loves us. This is the message I got from the book.
Oh, thank you very much, Laura.
Yes, thank you, Laura.
And that was such a good point.
It was.
I think that's
the
really
spirit
true.
of the house, the
Yes.
spirit of the place. It was lovely.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the sense that the house somehow loved the Vanderbeekers back.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Was taking care of them. I love that idea and I so agree with it. But moving away from the family just themselves, I thought such a charm of the book too was how it included the wider neighbourhood, the wider community.
It was like an extended family too. The aunt and the uncle Arthur and
Yes.
you know, and their neighbours were like family,
Yes.
but also reaching out to their friends and the shops and everything in the
Exactly,
neighbourhood. I
and
love
because their
that.
father grew up in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
you see him having these connections to people in the area that go back to his own childhood, and
Yes.
seeing him getting to repeat patterns, like going out to buy the Christmas tree from a particular seller, getting to do that with his children, and having these patterns
Yeah.
go through the
And
generations.
how nostalgic is that, and how few people nowadays have that privilege of living in a place that they grew up. Certainly it really spoke to me, that feeling.
I
think
know,
it's
like
lovely.
how lovely, yeah, what a
Yeah.
privilege, like you say, that would
Yeah.
be to
Yeah.
grow up somewhere and bring your children up in the same place too. But even if you don't have that,
Yeah.
I think it's a book that makes you think about the traditions you might have in the holiday
Absolutely.
season, how you pass those traditions on to your
Yeah.
children,
We've
how
always
you
been
make
really
new
big at
ones.
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
yes,
love traditions. But I thought too how it made you think about extending some of those traditions to people in your community.
Yes,
I love
yes.
that the family was so caring
Yes.
about the community, about their older neighbours,
Yeah.
but also they encouraged their children to volunteer at the soup kitchen, for instance.
Yes, absolutely.
And they cared about the more vulnerable in their society,
Yeah.
as well as their neighbours and friends.
But not in a preachy way. It was really
No.
beautifully done.
Yeah.
It just felt heartfelt, didn't it?
It really did, and I
Mm.
loved that. And Heather from the USA sent in a lovely voice message. She and her son read the book, which was lovely, and they enjoyed it both, which I was so happy to hear. But she also really made the point about the importance of community and friendships, and how she loved that that was brought out in the book. So let's listen to Heather's message.
Hello, Miranda and Donna, and members of the Comfort Book Club. I read this along with my son, and we enjoyed it so very much. We were both moved during the part where Isa plays out her emotions on the violin for Mr. Biederman, and we both sat in absorbed silence for many seconds after. My son wanted me to tell you that he really loved the ending and the pandas on Oliver's haiku. What I loved most about this book is the reminder of the importance of community and friendship. Papa's toast, which I am paraphrasing here, sums it up. I have always believed that raising kids means more than just being a good parent and trying to do the right things. It means surrounding your kids with amazing people. From every part of my being, I want to thank you for giving me and my family the gifts of friendship and love. Thank you, Miranda and Donna, and happy holidays to everyone.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
Heather.
you. Yes.
That's such a lovely quote.
I love that
from
you
the
read it with
book.
your son too.
Yes,
it's lovely.
And I agree about the panda stationery with the
Adorable.
haiku. Yeah.
Panda Laney, like kids do this.
Yes,
I
they
remember
do.
you were always dressing up, not as a panda, but various other animals.
Yeah, and I think, yes, that you really do get this sense of how important community is. It puts you in mind of the saying that it takes a village to raise a child, raise a family.
Yes,
and I think she really shows that,
yes,
doesn't
absolutely.
she, in the book?
She really does.
Karina herself, I believe, lives in Harlem. So I felt that her story was also a real love letter to Harlem specifically. And I wonder if there really is a bakery like that in Harlem. It made me wish there were. I really want to try those.
I know we
cheese
should ask
croissants.
your uncle because he actually lives in Harlem.
Yes. Because I really wished I could pop along there myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just loved the neighborhood vibe, all of that to the book. I thought it was fantastic. And another reader, Linda from the UK, also spoke about how much she loved the sense of family, but also of the wider community that came over in this story. So let's listen to Linda's message.
Hello Miranda and Donna, this is Linda from Glastonbury in Somerset. I so enjoyed your talk at Persephone Books, Miranda, and also getting to have a quick chat with Donna. I've loved reading the Vanderbeekers. It is such a beautiful celebration of family and the wider community with so many wonderful characters. I think my favourite depiction is of Oliver's bedroom. His uncle proceeded to install bookshelves on every inch of available open wall space in the room. From that day on, Uncle Arthur sent Oliver's books on a monthly basis. Now walking into Oliver's room was like entering a miniature library that someone happened to live in. Sounds just perfect. Thank you for recommending this heartwarming book, Miranda.
Oh, thank you, Linda.
Yes, thank you, Linda. It was a pleasure to chat with you, and I'm glad that you were brave and decided to do.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it was lovely to meet you at Persephone, and yes, thank you for contributing a voice message. And I adore that quote from the book too, that depiction of Oliver's bedroom.
It was actually marvellous, wasn't it?
Yes,
you so hope he got, and he did, all the Tolkien.
Yes, plus The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit.
Yes.
I loved all the references to books in the series, and I really liked how the author went against the typical stereotype of boys not reading and girls being bigger readers. She actually made the boy of the family the real reader, with his room that was like a library, and you see him devouring Treasure Island and wanting to read the Lord of the Rings.
And he's so imaginative.
Really imaginative, writing poetry, but also being really sporty and loving basketball as well. So I really liked that she kind of went against that typical stereotype of boys not reading.
Absolutely. And she did a really good job too with, the girl who really loved the science and the experiments she did and all that. I thought that was brilliant.
Yes, I think she made each of the children so individual. They really had their own personalities. And I love how imaginative they all were. And I thought a big part of that was how they went without television. There wasn't a single reference to them watching TV. They didn't have smartphones. They didn't have working internet, which was quite a clever device in the book for those few days. So, but you got the feeling too that they weren't given their own laptops or anything like that. They weren't from a very affluent family, but they were from a family that really valued imagination and creativity,
the way they made their own Christmas presents.
Yes, exactly. And I thought that was wonderful, and I think you'd hope maybe it would also encourage children to go and look up some of the books that Oliver was reading and loving, or maybe it would inspire children to listen to music or to do a craft project or a science experiment.
Yes.
But
I must say I had such a soft spot for Hyacinth, with her buttons and all the things.
I know how she made badges for like their club.
It was like a Secret Seven, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I loved Hyacinth. I had a real soft spot for her too, with her knitting
they were all
and
charming,
everything.
but I loved her.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I loved them all as well,
Yeah.
but I did have a real soft spot for Hyacinth. And I love how in the books you see how the children all come together as siblings and are really supportive of each other. Very, even when they make mistakes, they end up forgiving each other. They're kind to each other.
That is lovely.
Which is so nice to see. But you do also really see them as individuals in the book. They all have their own characters, personalities, and Karina makes sure to show the children as being by themselves or in building their own connections and friendships outside of the family as well as within it.
Yes,
you see them going off doing their own things.
Yes, absolutely. And they all have, even the twins have separate friends too.
Yes.
And I think that's really interesting.
Yes, me too. And she really took care to show that, which I thought was great as well. And Cristina from Spain sent a lovely voice message, and one of the things she commented on was how much she loved all of the children's personalities and how well drawn they were as individuals as well as part of a family. So let's listen to Cristina's message.
Good afternoon, Miranda, Donna, and all the members of the Comfort Book Club. Thank you so much for this heartwarming recommendation. I have loved it from the beginning to the end. I adore the characters, in particular the 5 children. I find a work of art the way they are drawn. You never get confused. You know them perfectly from the beginning. Very unusual in stories about large families. 5 personalities, 5 hearts, 5 souls, who teach us that love conquers everything. If I had to choose a moment of the novel, I would definitely go to the scene when the children finally know Mr. Baderman and discover not only that all their presents are nicely set on his room, but also discover and see with their own eyes a sad soul, a good man with a tragedy. I find superb that in that moment, almost in tears, I burst into laughter, imagining the cat walking around and meowing. Such a great writer. This novel teaches us many things, but the most important, in my opinion, is that we mustn't judge others. We never know the storms that people are trying to ride out. Thank you very much, Miranda and Donna.
Oh, thank you, Cristina.
Thank you, Cristina.
So glad that you enjoyed the book so much. We definitely had tears in our eyes at certain points whilst reading it. But yeah, she was really good at combining humour with some of the more poignant moments.
Yes,
as
and
well.
she didn't ignore the tragedy that can come in life at all.
No, she didn't.
And there's that bit where they say, oh, like Daddy would just cry and cry and cry, and it just,
I know, really
yeah,
heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
But I love that they also believe in the power of loving animals.
Oh, yes, the animals have all these lovely...
gives him a kitten.
Yes,
and you think, yes, that's really such a sweet moment.
And of course, Lane names him, and it probably... I think
that's a bit that had me laughing.
Yes, me too. Where he's like, we'll keep
Princess Cutie or something.
And he says, maybe we'll keep thinking about it. It's definitely going to be Princess Cutie. You can tell that.
I know, I love that. Yes, it was a book that definitely had me crying, had me laughing as well. And I thought that was so wonderful. But yes, there is this deeper message to it too, which was very touching, but still appropriately lightly dealt with for a children's book.
I think so. Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to say was how I just felt this book was such a wonderful Christmas read.
Oh, it was so Christmassy. And I love the fact that you could read it in real time along with the book. I thought that would have been lovely to do too.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I think it's so much fun when you can read a book sort of day by day along with the action of the characters. And it would be really fun to read it with a child maybe, and like read it together that way. Or by yourself. It's also a fun way to enjoy it.
Yes.
And I just thought there were so many touches of Christmas.
Yeah.
And one of our readers, Antoinette from Canada, sent in a lovely voice message, and she said that reading the book made her feel warm and fuzzy and in the festive spirit, which was so lovely to hear for our December pick. So let's listen to Antoinette's message.
Hello, Miranda and Donna. My name is Antoinette, and I'm one of your readers from Toronto, Canada. I had never heard of this book before, but my goodness, I am so happy that you chose it for this month's book club pick. I left it feeling warm, fuzzy, and very much in the Christmas spirit. I loved all the antics of the children as they tried to find out what exactly was wrong with Mr. Biederman, or the Biederman, as Oliver called him. I love that when they find out his tragic secret, they manage to melt him, and all within good reason. I also loved how the author emphasized the importance of community, and how many people in a city block or a brownstone can change and help children grow. I couldn't love this book more.
Oh, thank you, Antoinette.
Yes, thank you, Antoinette. That was lovely.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed it so much. And it's definitely a book that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy after reading it too.
Definitely.
And I love how you get the sense that you're going to grow with these characters. You're going to see them grow up.
Yes.
And you get a little foreshadow.
Yes, I spotted that
of what's to come with Issa and Benny. Which I thought was really sweet.
It was. Yeah. It was really nice that she did that. I thought it was lovely. The one thing that I actually wanted to ask you about is the one bit that maybe was slightly less lovely, and again it had that bit of real life, is the poor student at the university art department.
I know.
And being so panicked and worrying about keeping up with her scholarship because she was a bit late with her paper. That bit really was like, oh, thank goodness the woman took it in the end.
I know, but she was not very nice.
She was not a good elf.
No, she wasn't. And I think that did show a bit of reality in terms of not everyone is nice. You don't always know what other people are going through though. But the Vanderbeeker children after that encounter all wanted to go home and feel the comfort and like warmth and love from their home. Yeah. And I think that is really true. It's also a bit of a message that if you've had a bad day or a hard encounter, that being with people you love and who love you, or even just being in the sort of safety of your own home and treating yourself kindly and being kind to yourself is really so important.
It is. I thought that was lovely the way she did that.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah, but no, I know I loved all of the story, and I think even though it was so sweet, a few elements like that stopped it from being saccharine.
Absolutely, no, it wasn't.
It really wasn't saccharine.
It just felt heartwarming. I think
that's a perfect word, I think, to use to describe it. Mm. But I'm so glad that you loved reading it, and I can't wait to hear what everyone else thought of the book. So do leave your comments below.
We really appreciate all the comments that have been left on every video.
Yes, and thank you so much to everyone who's been reading along with us in 2022. It's been such a lovely year with the Comfort Book Club and with all my other videos, but really big thanks to all of you who've been reading along with us and leaving comments or sending in your voice messages. And I do have February's choice to announce, so I'll just get them. So I've already announced January's a while ago, so you should know this one. That's 450 from Paddington. That's a book by Agatha Christie that we'll be discussing in January. One of my favourite Miss Marples, so I'm looking forward to that. And then February being the month of romance, I thought I really wanted to do a Georgette Hare novel, and I've chosen another favourite of mine, The Nonsuch, which is set primarily in Yorkshire.
Yes.
There's lots of mentions of Harrogate and Leeds, so I thought this was a really appropriate choice for us. Yeah, even Knaresborough comes up in it. And Georgette Hare was such a wonderful Regency romance writer.
Yes.
So The Nonsuch is February's choice. This is in print. I just realised I don't actually have a modern paperback of it.
No.
I'll have to get it. So I have a old hardback, but it is in print. You can find it easily. And it's also an audiobook. So I'm really excited about that. But really, all that remains to be said now is to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for all of the support in 2022, all of the likes and comments and super thanks from all of you. It's really meant so much
It
this
really
year.
has. Yeah.
It really has. And I'm looking forward to reading more amazing books together and all of the adventures that are to come in 2023.
Yes.
And I'll be seeing you in 2023. I'm stopping now for my Christmas break.
Yeah.
But I'll be with you again in the new year, and I hope that you have a wonderful festive period ahead. I hope all of you have some time to read a good book.
Absolutely. We will.
Yeah. To make some happy memories this December. But thank you so much again, and see you in 2023.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.